So you're out on a hike and your phone dies or your GPS stops working, and the trail behind you doesn't really look the way you remembered on the way up. Do not panic. There is a clear, calm process to work you through the situation. Welcome back to Maps and Mountains 101. This is episode 4, and so far we've covered scale, contour lines, and terrain features. Today we're putting all of that together to find ourselves in the field using just our maps, skills, and some simple tools along the way. First, there's an acronym that's meant exactly for situations like these. It's called STOP, which stands for stop, think, observe, plan, and then act. All right, so with that, the first step, just like our acronym says, is to stop. We're going to stay where we are since moving when we're uncertain can get us even more disoriented and further away from our last known point. The BC Search and Rescue Association consistently says that staying put is one of the best things lost hikers can do to help themselves get found faster. Now we're going to think and observe. Let's look around for terrain features we can see and then find on our map. That could be a named peak, a lake, or even human landmarks like a road or a highway. This is where everything we've covered in the last episodes comes together because we're not looking at random shapes anymore, we're seeing the landforms that we actually know how to identify. Once we've found at least 2 landmarks, we can start to narrow down where we are on that map. Now to really narrow down our location, being able to check our elevation is going to be super helpful here. Most smartwatches and mobile devices have GPS altimeters built into them, but if you don't have those, a basic altimeter is super affordable and you can find one online for around $20 to $30. Whichever you've got, find the contour line on your map that matches your elevation. Now we can cross-reference that line with the terrain features we've already identified, and we'll have a way better idea of what our position is compared to the terrain around us. And if you have a compass, you can take this one step further. We can take a bearing on a feature we've identified, then trace that bearing line back across the map from the feature towards us. If we do that for 2 or more features and see where the lines cross, that's called a resection, and it's how navigators have been finding themselves in the field for hundreds of years. Also remember that most mobile devices these days have a compass app integrated in them. So now that we've stopped, thought, and observed, we can make a plan. Based on where we know we are and where we need to get to, what's our next move? Sometimes the answer is to keep going, sometimes it's to backtrack to the last known point, but if conditions are getting worse or you're uncertain that you can even make it back safely, the answer is just to stay put and call for help. Now let's circle back to some data. There were 1,940 search and rescue calls in BC in 2025, and the top 3 reasons were injury, getting lost or disoriented, and exceeding abilities. Every one of these is something that we can prepare for, and BC Adventure Smart has a whole library of free educational resources to help us do exactly that. There are webinars on injury prevention, on lost person behavior, and on the psychology of decision making in the backcountry. All of these are linked below. There's been a long-standing fear that calling for help comes with a bill, and it doesn't. If you need help, you should call. But if we can use our navigation knowledge and planning skills to avoid unsafe terrain in the first place, well, that's even better. And that is a wrap on our Maps and Mountains 101 series. We hope this has provided some valuable navigation foundations, and remember the best way to apply it is to actually get out there and practice with your friends in the field. We'll see you on the trails.